has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
It's Ferrall on the bench, coast to coast, in the biggest way possible. Hanging out. The bad seed, the broken, the bad apple with a bad attitude. We are live in New York City. The Big Apple. Ooh. People dressed in plastic bags, directing traffic, some kind of fashion trigger, don't you do me? Along with the Tutty and Tater King himself, the founder of the LC podcast, the rights holder of the Sheet of Integrity. And they put it with the golf guru. It's Carver High this afternoon, ladies. Mafia is running it along with Luke. I am your father. The rundown on a Terrible Towel Tuesday. We've got a double shot with Morency this very hour. In the second hour, the stuff of legend, the Golden Muzzy, Nick Alberga in Toronto. Hopefully not talking about the desecration of the Wayne Gretzky statue and the hatred toward America. In the final hour, a double shot with Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider. 6-2 last night against the spread in the NBA, Carver High, with a magnificent pull on the Bulls winning at the Ball Arena in Denver. How do you like them apples? And by the way, we won that chip. 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 Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Your boy Uncle Futrelli with a 10-piece nug with special sauce. 5 for 5 from the floor in my 14 minutes of burn in the chip. Up by 4 at the half, and you win by a 20-piece. Everybody ate. 13th title. Back to back. For me, 4 straight for hated most. Styling. We won that chip. We won that chip. We won that chip. Oh, it always feels good to win. Carver High, as you know, losing sucks.
Yeah, losing does suck. That's good, though, that you got in the mix. You got some burn. You're able to get some buckets. That's always nice when you're involved in the championship game.
The Baker's dozen, Carver High. Should I retire on top? I'm going to talk to my agent, the media.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. You might have to get into the negotiations and see what that is. We'll have to think about the negotiations.
I want more money.
Yeah, need a little bit more. That's for sure. All right, you were right about last night that with the Bulls as they continue to smash teams. How about dropping a $129 in Denver against the Nuggets? It's like they found a little something with this Giddey and Kobe White, and these guys are just filling it up every single night, becoming a dangerous team at the bottom of the Eastern Conference, giving teams problems in the play-in tournament on the horizon. I can see it now. Bulls basketball back in Chicago. Everybody's excited.
Yeah, you don't want to play them right now. They're playing great ball. They got, 3 guys pouring in buckets on a nightly basis, namely White, and obviously he's been the star player of the week. And then you got Giddy Kitty and Buzelis, the rookie. What he's done, like in the night in L.A. against the Lakers, it really is crazy. They're just playing great basketball. And I know we've talked about Billy before not being effective in the NBA. And listen, I think those players are making him look good. I think he's always been, for my money, a college coach. And all of a sudden the Bulls are winning and they look fantastic, and then he'll get all this credit. I think the credit goes with the players that are just, you look at teams that have 3 guys that are producing. Like, look at the Pistons, what they've done, the Rockets, what they've done. Even the Celtics, they got 3 or more guys producing on a nightly basis. When the Clippers get Harden and Kawhi going, you get a couple guys that produce big numbers on a nightly basis, you win. And when you don't have that productivity, look what they did. Like Dallas got, AD back last night. He barely played. He played like 26, 27 minutes, but they won. So, because he produced, it's what do you get from the productivity from players in your lineup, in your rotation, that makes the difference. I think coaches get, in the NBA, way too much credit. At that level, I've told you a million times, the players don't listen to those coaches. None of them. Like, I guarantee you, not one son listens to Mike Budenholzer ever. Not even when he says good morning.
Nobody listens to coaches. They don't care anything about them. So the Bulls head home, and they play the Lakers again at home on Thursday night. They whacked them last week in L.A., so they're going to see them. And Lakers lost slumping. In Orlando. Yeah, slumping big time. They lost in Orlando last night. Big third quarter by the Magic was able to extend, and the Lakers could never recover from it. And also potentially a big injury last night. We shall see with Jason Tatum rolling that ankle on Sabonis' foot. So, he got carried off. I'm sure there'll be some reports later, MRIs, etc., and see what happens with him. But, you do have, 3 weeks, 3.5, 4 weeks, really, until serious playoff basketball? Hopefully that's enough time. He'll be fine by
It's
now.
just a bad time. It reminds me of a couple things. Cooper Flagg getting injured, right, during the ACC tournament and going to the NCAAs. And then now you can't tell me USC's winning a national championship with Juju Watkins blowing out her ACL.
They're finished.
They won last night at home. Let's see what happens without her on the road now in these Elite Eight games. All I know is injuries change everything. If he's not healthy, I think it really hurts Boston any way you slice it. I don't deny what Brown can do. Porzingis, you just never know if he's playing or not. He's so undependable. It's not even funny. But they are deep. And, what Pritchard brings them, Cornette brings them, White brings them. They have so many guys that can play. I think they can still win.
Yeah.
He'll be better by the, second round, obviously. I think we'll see. There's still time before they start. But, if it looked really bad, like he was in agony. And it's always a problem when the guy gets carried off. It's not like he walked off. So, obviously, if it's high, it's going to be a problem for, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah, look, they really don't start. They wouldn't play until that weekend of the 20th in April, like Easter weekend's like when the first round starts. And they won't even need him in the first round, whoever they play, whether it's in Atlanta
Easter still
or
a holiday
or whatever. Yes, still on my calendar.
Well, I thought they canceled it because of the price of eggs.
No, eggs are still, they're looking okay. It looks like the bunny will arrive this year for that. So we do have that cooking. So we've got lots of NBA today. We've got lots of college rack as well, as we're still waiting for Thursday night, Sweet 16. We'll go over some other things with that. And, man, I saw more coaches belly aching today about, and look, I guess rightfully so, about all the portal stuff being on. It's like 2,000 kids in the portal or something. It's just it is what it is. I saw Izzo complaining this morning that he's trying to coach a team and he's got portal issues going on. He's got trying to find his team for next year. Everybody's got a problem. Deal with it. That's the way the world works now, unfortunately.
On top of the money, this is embarrassing. Like that they just let everybody. It's like every single kid on every single team can just jump around and play wherever he wants every year. Yeah. It's insanity. That's bad enough. And then giving them money, it's created, it's a business now. It's professional. It's not college athletics anymore. There's no academia involved at all anymore. No one cares about their education or graduating. And don't tell me that they do, because you're full of shack. And the fact that a kid can leave, and the fact that these people, what do you mean, you people? That they let these people open this thing, this vat, this portal, during the tournament while it's still going on. The coach is taking jobs while it's going on. It's laughing.
that magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's made every match so much more enjoyable to watch because you don't get the stinkers, right?
Right. It goes back to these guys being smart. They figured out that if I've got the hammer in my back pocket and I don't relinquish it, we can just play them straight up and win. They figured that out. And so it's like, all right, now credit to the people at TGL. Like, no, we need to fix this because the hammer can change the match. And since we fixed it, you're not out of it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
You can catch Sports Rage weeknights at 10 Eastern along all of our TV and radio outlets. We get Morency for a double shot every day from Vancouver to start the show off on the right foot. So I saw you went to the Whitecaps game the other day, and I know that the Canadian team beat the U.S. team in soccer. I saw you commented on none of it matters unless they win in the World Cup and get out of the group stage or something to this effect. And then all the problems that the U.S. and North America are having for this World Cup with regards to people coming to it based on, people worried about being deported and caught and all this other stuff by this government here that's out for blood. With anyone that isn't from here, there's a lot going on with soccer, and it's crazy right now. And you were in the middle of it all, going to games and everything else. You obviously have a huge interest in it.
Yeah, I'm a massive soccer fan. I'll tell you what, quickly, as far as U.S. soccer, number one, it's too bad that it was scheduled when it was, right? You have this tournament going head-to-head with March Madness, and hardcore soccer fans, whatever, don't care about March Madness, but as a whole, as a collective, people really weren't paying attention to this, the CONCACAF Nations League this past weekend. But U.S. soccer right now, Scott, is like at an all-time low. They lost to Panama, and then they lost to Canada. You have a new manager, as you say, to the World Cup is around the corner. SoFi was empty, Scott. It's busier for NFL Super Bowl Media Day than it was for the USA matches. There's just apathy, and you got the World Cup around the corner right now. And there's no enthusiasm around USA soccer. Globally, people are buying tickets for Mexico and Canada. It's jacking up the prices because the World Cup is in Mexico, United States, and Canada. And as Scott just stated, a lot of people globally are saying, you know what, we're going to Mexico, we're going to Canada for the World Cup games. So there's almost like it's a state of emergency, actually, Scott, just point blank. But from Canada's perspective, just quickly, Canada soccer, bro, is really climbing the ranks, Scott. They're good. Like, they took Argentina to the brink last year in the Copa. They went to penalty kicks with Uruguay. We're talking about world-class teams here, but they get to this they get there, Scott, and they don't win. It's a lot of moral victories in Canada with Canada soccer. Wow, it's pretty good. Hey, man, we just gave Argentina all they can handle. But as you like to say, yeah, but you didn't win, right? You know what I mean? So there's like the moral victories have been building up. It's like, all right, you know what? You beat USA, man. You went to the World Cup last time. Now it's time to actually get out of the group and have some success, which I think they will. But U.S. soccer right now, bro, it's an absolute disaster, Scott. Train wreck. And they just hired a new manager right now.
Yeah, what did you think when you saw the guy, Sepp Blatter, and his partner get off on those corruption charges in FIFA? When it comes to the world stage, it doesn't get any bigger than that.
Man, you know what? The most powerful people in the world, Scott, politicians, drug cartel leaders, and FIFA board members. Next to the Olympic Committee, you have full autonomy, Scott.
Honestly.
You and I would love it. It's just kickback city, Scott. Oh, you want to host some games? All right, why don't you fly us in over to Denmark and let's see what you can do for us. Forget about like NIL recruiting, Scott. This is real stuff. Remember like the Olympics in Salt Lake when they got nailed? You know what I mean? Bribes, hookers, ski chalets. It's like, hey, you want my vote? No, 50,000 doesn't do it. I'm talking Lamborghinis, homes in Switzerland. This is the big league bribe, Scott. This is the big leagues, baby.
Do you think that the NCAA tournament committee was accepting bribes?
No. No, I don't. No, I don't.
The thought of it, though, is juicy, isn't it?
No, I actually don't. North Carolina got bounced. West Virginia would have been bounced by now anyways or whatever. It is what it is. So, yeah, I wasn't up in arms about that. But, yeah, how about, like, now Donovan Dent is bolting New Mexico? Like, this is a new world that we're in. I do agree with you, though. Listen, I don't have a problem with it. I know people, it's going to be the death of this, the death of that, whatever, dude. Like, you know what I mean? It's just.
Were you surprised that Pastner got the UNLV job? Wasn't he like working at ESPN as an analyst? He wasn't coaching.
No, he was on TV. Yeah, I don't know what network he's on. It's hard to keep up now.
ESPN.
Yeah, I think it was ESPN. I was just watching him over the weekend break down, the bracketology. If you look at your UNLV, this is what they do, Scott. Who was the last football coach they just hired? Dan Mullins, right? They're looking for that name guy, right? They don't have the money to get a top-tier, like, modern dude. And then, they got Odom. He did a great job at a football program. He leaves, right? Like, it's sort of the cycle there at UNLV now. So they like the name guys. It wasn't like Pastner had a million people offering jobs either. People in Las Vegas aren't happy with it. A lot of Rebel fans think it's like a bad hire. They're looking at his Georgia Tech record. They say Cal built the Memphis team. But to them, I say you're UNLV. It's not like a sought-after job, guys. So it is what it is.
I used to do the Shark Show with Jerry Tarkanian back in the day when he was there and you were going to Vegas.
They were Vegas.
Las Vegas.
They were Vegas.
That was the hottest ticket in Las Vegas before pro sports got there.
Even when I was there, Scott, I was living there. It was like 2011, 12 era to like 14. And still then, like no pro teams were there yet, right? And I warned people. I said, once pro sports comes here, UNLV is going to be done, right? No, they'll never die. You don't know it. Okay. You'll see. And the biggest show in town, I remember Jimmy Fredette and BYU going to Vegas to play, right? Like Vegas, the UNLV were still sort of hanging on to something. I'd say, Scott, after Tark, their only really respectable coach they had was Lon Kruger.
Yeah.
They were pretty good with Lon Kruger. Like they were making NCAA tournaments still. They were making tournaments still, right? And people in Vegas were getting mad. Oh, we got knocked out in the first round or second round of the tournament. Now you get knocked out in the first round of the Mountain West tournament.
Yeah, I used to go every week over there to interview him and do the Shark Show. And imagine being around that guy. I did it for like a year or two, and he was a trip, and so was his wife. I mean, he's one of a legend.
Yeah, she's a politician there now.
Badass. I will come back and talk baseball with Lorenzo.
that magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
It's made every match so much more enjoyable to watch because you don't get the stinkers, right?
Right. It goes back to these guys being smart. They figured out that if I've got the hammer in my back pocket and I don't relinquish it, we can just play them straight up and win. They figured that out. So it's like, all right, now credit to the people at TGL. Like, no, we need to fix this because the hammer can change the match. And since we fixed it, you're not out of it.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Well, Morency, your Dodgers will start up, and you see who they're opening up with on the mound, and they've already won the games in Japan. And how do you think they're going to take all this acclaim that they're going to win all these games, and they spend more money, and they're just the biggest thing ever, and they're so loaded?
Dave Roberts gets criticized. He has been criticized in the past. But I don't think he gets the credit for keeping the team just sort of focused and as evenly keeled as they are. The thing with the Dodgers, Scott, they're so damn deep now, right? Like last year, they only won 98 games. Only. It was the most, you know what I mean? Nobody cracked 100 last year. It was one of those weird years. But the Dodgers had a million injuries last year, and they're trying to become bulletproof, right? Let's sign 8 starting pitchers. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, and like they freely admitted, hey, listen, you saw in the World Series, we were starting bullpen guys. You can never have too many starting pitchers. So they literally have like 8 starting pitchers now. So it's like, all right, if somebody gets hurt, we're not going to panic. Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman were out for the first 2 games of the year. They won the baseball games, right, on the back of the Japanese pitchers. Now you're going to roll out Snell, Glasnow, May, hell of a rotation. Their win total, guys, is currently 104.5. It was 103.5. Now they won their first 2 games, so you get to 104.5. You can get like plus 230, Scott, that the Dodgers win 110 or more. I would almost rather, listen, if you're going to have a sports book hold your money for 6 months, right, wouldn't you rather get plus money back for it? So, like, okay, you pick the Dodgers, over 104.5. They win, minus 110. You're winning a bet, and you're waiting 5.5, 6 months for it. If they're going to win 104, I think they can get to 110, right? It's a big ask, but they are super deep. So I think they can get there. And, Scott, you know, listen, I got basketball fever. I'm fired up for March Madness, Michigan and Auburn. You know, I still got the soccer buzz. Big night in the NHL tonight, the Blues and the Canadiens. Massive game for both teams tonight. But I was actually up last night, Scott, putting together some baseball future picks here, dude. I'm ready to go, and you're going to like this one. How about this for you? A little Pittsburgh Pirate love, Scott. O'Neal Cruz, over 20.5 stolen bases this year. Too low.
That's very doable.
Come on. This guy's going to have 35, 40 stolen bases, in my opinion.
Easy.
If he stays healthy. If he's on the field, Scott, this kid can play. This kid can play. So it's 20.5 O'Neal Cruz, over. I was looking at stolen base numbers. I'm going to go over 53.5 with De La Cruz. This kid's a monster. I don't know, he's the fastest guy in the game, probably. Yes, he is. What did he get? Like 67 last year? 63, 67, off the top of my head again. It's 53.5. I'm expecting big things from the Reds this year with Terry Francona taking over as skip as well.
Yeah.
I like De La Cruz over the 53.5 stolen bases. De La Cruz to lead the league in stolen bases is -105, which I think he comfortably will. And here's a little one, too. De La Cruz to get to 60 or more stolen bases, +175. I got some win totals, too, Scott. Now, guys at the A's are going to Sacramento. Like, they're actually spending money on players now. So they've had a nice offseason. They've spent some money on players.
Right. They're
going to be playing in a smaller ballpark where there's going to be a launching pad, bro. In that desert heat out there, like the Sacramento AAA games were always like 14-12 all the time. All right? It's like Reno or something. Like the ball is a launching. It's a launching pad. So there's going to be a ton of home runs there. The A's, dude, I went over it, Scott. The Major League Baseball players, MLB.com, had a players poll. So not media, just all the players in the league voted on, like, the upcoming season. You know, who's the MVP, who's the best player in the game, who's this, who's that. And it was a lot of Ohtani and Mookie Betts love as a whole, but Major League Baseball players all voted. Who was asked? They were asked, who's going to be the breakout team, surprise team this year? They all said the Athletics. Dude, Lawrence Butler's a baller, man. Brent Rooker can smoke the baseball. Brent Rooker might lead the league in home runs. I like the A's, Scott, this year. Over 71.5 wins. The Sacramento Athletics, but I guess they're just called the Athletics this year.
Is that right? They're not gonna call them Sacramento. Just
Sacramento. No, talk about being used, huh? Yeah, we're gonna play in your city, but we're not even gonna use your name.
Aren't they gonna play there for 3 years?
Yeah. Till the stadium in Vegas is ready.
That's crazy, right? And then
they're just known as the Athletics.
How do you think the Rays will do it at Steinbrenner Field?
This is for future bettors. We'll get into it. We'll get into it again tomorrow, Scott, if you want. But the Rays guys play 47 of their first 59 games at home this year. That's very strange, all right? So, in other words, the last couple of months are going to be on the road all year.
Great stuff, Lorenzi. Have a good show tonight, buddy.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They are a street ball team. They remind me of an and one team, right?
Yeah.
They are street ball fast, park fast, playing in the hood. They are no joke, McNeese.
Yeah.
They can beat anybody.
Well,
they won 27 games as well for a reason.
It's a bracket. You trust the team to make a run. Feels good until it doesn't. And that's didn't feel good for all that long. Kansas.
Only on SportsGrid. That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So the Celtics, they won that game last night, and they covered in Sacktown, but they paid the price with that Tatum injury.
They did pay the price with the Tatum injury. Of course, 113-95, the Celtics do get the win. Now, before I even get to Mazzulla and how he's feeling, I know you saw the play. Apparently, this is something that the Celtics and Tatum have been belly aching about all year, which is guys stepping in on him when he's shooting. They gave Sabonis a flagrant for that. Did you have a problem with the flagrant for Sabonis for getting in too close on Tatum as he was coming down from his shot?
So, it's hard for me to gauge all their venom towards every team that, jumps into him when he's shooting a three. I don't believe that, because I think everyone that shoots a shot in basketball, someone's trying to get a hand in their face and get up in them. Like when I play, people are always saying, get your hand up, try to alter the shot, get up in him. And no one ever is satisfied with playing off of a guy with a ball. So I was in a 1-3-1 last night. I was at the top of the key. Meanwhile, I'm 6'4". I should have been in the low block on one of the sides. But, instead they had me at the top. And I think one of the keys was my, long arms. I was able to frustrate the guy with the ball, even though he was faster than me. I was able to just start, reaching out and getting my hand in their face and near the ball, and they couldn't get their offense going. So I'm not surprised at all guys jump into shooters, and no one likes the fact that they are there when they land. I mean, who would be happy when you land on someone's foot and Rolly Massimino your ankle? It's just a bad thing, but it happens in basketball every day. It's no different than a guy going up for a rebound and jumping up in the sky to get a rip and coming down on some dude's foot and Rolly that. I mean, I'm not buying it that there's some conspiracy against the Boston Celtics. God forbid. How soft is that?
Well, here is Mazzulla after the game.
Mr. Personality.
Mr. Personality. Of course, they're going to have more tests done today. They're on the West Coast. I'm sure that we'll hear something maybe later on. But here's Mazzulla. He didn't seem too concerned after the game.
He seems to be doing okay. He's just icing it right now. I didn't see the play, but they made the right calls of flagrant foul, and fortunate that he was able to shoot the free throw and, just taking care of it right now.
He does. He gives you nothing. I mean, just zero out of that guy. He's got it. I mean, just nothing. He's like wallpaper.
I don't even know why we run him. Like, why run him? He's so boring and so stale. So whatever. And I'm not a fan. So, and I don't wish injuries on anybody. But I also don't care if he got injured. I really don't. I don't wish it on anybody, but I don't care. I have nothing but disdain for that team. So what am I going to sit around here worried about their problems? I love their problems. In fact, I swim in it. I swim in their losses. I swim in their injuries. I swim in everything. I don't wish it on anybody, but I got no problem with it. If it happens, I have no problem.
Nobody outside the Boston area is shedding a tear. That's for sure. As they will, they got 3 more stops on that long road trip there in Phoenix tomorrow night against the Suns. All right, next the Bulls, red hot now. They beat the Nuggets 129-119. They are 8-2 in their last 10. How about some of these numbers last night? Kobe White, 37 points, third straight 30-point game. Josh Giddey, 26, 9, and 8, hitting some big threes late on Chicago Sports Network that put it away.
Goes back up, may have had it blocked, got it back, second chance, third chance, fourth chance, Giddey a three!
Giddy up!
Numbers is high.
Oh, if Dalen Terry would have been there, he had a layup.
Giddey a three!
Oh, good day, mate. Good day.
The Bulls' 3-point barrage against the Nuggets continues.
Is that an Aussie reference? G'day, mate, with the call. I mean, the guy sounded like they were having sex. They're having so much fun. Look, the Bulls are winning, and winning is fun. And watching a team that's hot is fun. That's just all there is to it. And what's even better is it's smarter to be on SportsGrid because we've been betting on the Bulls in like 8 of the last 10 games they played. And last night on this show, we took them not to cover, We took them to win outright. And
Took
they
them
did.
to win outright now. It's like we said, 8 out of 10. They've gotten to 32-40. They finally go home after a 4-2 road trip where they'll play the Lakers again on Thursday night. They just played the Lakers in L.A. last Saturday. They will play the Lakers again. We'll talk about them in a moment because they're having all kinds of problems last night. Another good one. Another team. Like the Celtics, we're shedding tears. The Lakers are having all kinds of problems.
How will I ever deal with it? Life in general.
Also last night, good one between the Bucks and the Suns. I think you even were up late night watching this one. 108-106. Phoenix gets it done. Now, it was a good night for the Slim Reaper. He had 38 for the Suns, but it was Devin Booker at the end getting involved, Suns TV.
He's got to get this ball in. Book gets it. Racing past Lopez. Rising up. Gets the look. Boom!
Listen, I watched the whole game, and I got back from our championship victory, and I was dancing with myself. Obviously, it was late, and I celebrated while I watched the Suns game. And what was great about it is that I had the Bucks in 3 points, and they lost by 2. And it was a great ending. Not only was it a great game, but Giannis and the Slim Reaper were going at each other, like physically going at each other, like holding, grabbing, clutching, talking. Durant had more than one instance in that game where he got into it with somebody on the Bucks, and he was laughing at people because he knows how good he is. Like, he knows he's got that Kevin Durant card. You know, remember when he said, I'm Kevin Durant. I don't have to worry what you think. I'm Kevin Durant. He had that going last night with some rookie on the Bucks. He was like, fool, I'm Kevin Durant. And then, he drops 38, and he was knocking down deep perimeter threes. My man, I've never seen anything like it. Like, I've talked about it on the show many times. I've never seen a guy, and, you don't see him landing on anybody's feet because he's so tall that when he jumps, the defender's already out at In-N-Out Burger getting a burger by the time Durant comes down and hits the floor. The guy that's guarding him's already gone for a double-double. Carver High and I love late night In-N-Out Burger. It's just a late night. It's just an automatic thing. We just constantly, the two of us.
Two other things quickly from this game. Number one, I saw the numbers because Beal didn't play last night. The Suns this year, when KD and Booker play and Beal doesn't, they are 13-3. The Suns, when they have that lineup in and Beal's not out there. So,
you know what's even better?
Yeah.
He says that, have you seen what he says? He's like, I have the greatest seat in the house to watch these two guys go off, and you can't trade me.
He loves it. He loves hanging that over their head. That he's got the no trade. You don't want to play. The other thing, did you see Doc in this interview say, here it is, quote, he gets unfair criticism for blowing 3-1 leads in the playoffs, says he doesn't get enough credit for getting the 3 wins. Doc, just shut up. Honestly, Doc, what? Don't say more. You need to say less. Just don't say anything about it. It's over.
I don't even know what to say about him because he is the Black Cloud Diner of coaches. Like, he has got the worst luck. He never closes the deal. I will never agree with anyone that thinks that he won that title in Boston. Those players won that title. He had nothing to do with it. He had to sign up in the NBA.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They are a street ball team. They remind me of an and one team, right?
Yeah.
They are street ball fast, park fast, playing in the hood. They are no joke, McNeese.
Yeah.
They can beat anybody.
Well,
they won 27 games as well for a reason.
It's a bracket. You trust the team to make a run. Feels good until it doesn't. And that's didn't feel good for all that long. Kansas.
Only on SportsGrid. That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Big Dwight Howard with the Hall of Fame Magic induction last night into their HOF, and a big night of celebration of Big Dwight. He was there, and he was doing like the TV broadcast, the radio broadcast. He talked so much he lost his voice.
He had a pregame ceremony. I saw him on TV. I had the game on while I was doing the radio because I had all these losing slips on Luka last night for assists and rebounds that never came through. So I was watching the game, and I did see him on the broadcast, and he was very emotional with his parents there. And how fitting. They had the team that they left Orlando to take all that money, just like Shaq. They had the Lakers in. Right? He left Orlando to take a huge bag from L.A. When he went out of there. So nice that they waited for the Lakers to come to town in order to do that. Orlando did beat the Lakers 118-106 last night. It was a 21-5 third quarter run for Orlando, which really gave them the lead, and they never looked back. Your boy, Anthony Black, getting involved on FanDuel Sportsnet.
A dozen for Black. Doncic lost it on the way up. Black took it away. Magic run. Black, lefty, got it.
Yeah, I mean, I watched part of the game before I went to my chip game, and he was talking about Banchero and how big he was and how bad he was. And listen, I think they're average. I'm not afraid of them. They're not going anywhere against anybody in the playoffs, I don't think. I like Banchero's game. I think Franz Wagner is definitely a guy that puts the ball in the hole and goes for it. The rest of that team, I don't know. I thought, this is just me, right? Like, I thought Suggs was better in college. I really did. I thought he was a bigger star at Gonzaga than he was.
He's been hurt a lot.
Whatever, like, I'm not afraid of them. That team is a big deal. Yeah. They beat the Lakers. The Lakers are slumping right now. Big deal.
Lakers have now lost 7 out of 10. You remember how hot they were, really, from when they got Luka all the way until LeBron got hurt in that game in Boston. Here's Luka last night. We got to re-find a little bit of that magic.
I think we just got to look back at the way we play on that 8-game winning streak. We're physical. We play hell of a defense. And I think we just got a little bit satisfied, so we can't afford that right now.
Listen, here's the deal: if you have a losing record that's really who you are. I don't, all these teams that are under 500, I mean, honestly, like, what am I supposed to be afraid of them? They never win. They win once a week. Teams that aren't above 500 don't matter. That's it. That's all there is to it. You can talk all you want about star players and kissing their rings and all this other nonsense. If you don't win, you don't win. So you win one game against a team that's slumping, so what? Honestly.
Yeah. Lakers have tough 3 games in 4 nights here to finish out this road trip. They're in Indiana tomorrow night, and then, as we mentioned earlier, in Chicago.
They'll probably
on
lose
Friday.
that game, too, because the Pacers are hot as hell. Playing
Pacers
great. They won again last night, and I think they'll beat the Lakers.
Yep, 119-103. Pacers did beat the Timberwolves at home. Raptors did beat the Wizards, so that was good. Mavs beat the Nets 120-101. AD did come back. He played 27 minutes. He had 12 points, 6 boards, and 3 dimes in that time there. So limited minutes for AD, but he's able to get the job done. The Pelicans did beat the Sixers 112-99 in the nobody cares game of the night. 2 teams going nowhere.
Too.
We always love those. Now, I should have tagged this with the Lakers, but I put it at the end. Bronny has been going off in the G League. Your boy had 39 last night. He's got like 3 of his last 4 games in the G League. He's got like 30-plus points. The kid's been going off down there.
Yeah, and he's, they bring him up still to play in these games, and he's done well in the games that he's played in, so you got to give him credit. He's obviously growing and getting better and balling out in the G League. It is what it is, so I think it was so easy to slam the whole thing from the jump when he got, on the Lakers to begin with, and I think it was just so fixed and so ridiculous. And then it was easy to, kind of hate on him and be like, he shouldn't be in the NBA. And I don't think he was ready for the NBA, and I still don't. But I think that he's doing fantastic in this role in the G League. And then periodically they give him a little burn in the NBA to get a taste. And I think that's the best way to handle it, to be honest.
Yeah, and they kind of play him now in these games that they're punting, right? Like last week he played in that game against the Bucks where they punted the game. I know we didn't get to talk about it because we were doing all the tournament last week, but I mean, he had like 17 points. He was 7 to 10 from the floor. That was in the Buck game where the Lakers sat everybody. That's good spots for him. Again, it's all about what your expectations are with him. If your expectations are that he's going to be LeBron, you're going to be sorely mistaken. That's just not what it's going to be. If your expectations are he could grow into a serviceable NBA player, I don't think that's that far-fetched.
Listen, he's got the genes. So he's got the DNA, and he could very well, and I think it will inevitably happen, he's going to sprout into his dad. I think he's going to be kind of a metamorphosis of his dad physically. I think that he will be, soon enough, a grown man, ripped and violently larger than he is now. I do believe that he is not done growing or anything like that. And I think that he's going to become his dad. Now, will he ever play like his dad? They're 2 different people, but he's got the DNA. And let's face facts. Like, look at this Richardson kid on Michigan State. He's the spitting image of his father, and his father was a great player for Izzo. And now this kid's a great player for Izzo. Why can't Bronny in 5 years be a dominant NBA player? I think he will be. I think he's going to turn into that player.
Guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
They are a street ball team. They remind me of an and one team, right?
Yeah.
They are street ball fast, park fast, playing in the hood. They are no joke, McNeese.
Yeah.
They can beat anybody. They won 27 games as well for a reason.
It's a bracket. You trust the team to make a run. Feels good until it doesn't. And that's didn't feel good for all that long with Kansas.
Only on SportsGrid. That magical time of the year when everyone suddenly becomes a basketball expert. Highlight watching, mascot picking, bracket stressing. Sound familiar? Skip the guesswork with Bracket Central. Real expert picks, trusted analysis, and zero stress. Because choosing teams by mascot cuteness isn't exactly a winning strategy. Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
So, like in every season, in every sport that has one, the salary cap is going up in the NBA.
Sure, why not? Everybody's rolling in money. They might as well distribute it to the rest of the teams. Teams were notified the cap will increase 10% from this past season. Salary cap 154.6, luxury tax 187.9, first apron 195.9, second apron 207.8. Of course, then that's getting into like how much tax you got to pay, into the pot. The teams that go over that number. When you start, think about this for a second. The stakes, they claim the salary cap is 154 point whatever. Meanwhile, we have guys who make like $70 million in 1 year now. Like next year, SGA is going to get 70.
Right.
They got guys making $55-60 million in a year, and your cap's only 154. It's nonsense because you can go over the cap if you re-sign your own guys. There's very few things more confusing than the NBA salary cap structure. It's beyond confusing. It's stupid, to be quite honest. So there you go.
Yeah, and I don't really care about NBA teams' financials. I really don't, or how much teams have in the NFL, NBA, NHL. I'm not worried about their finances. I'm really not.
I'm not either.
The Dodgers and Mets and Yankees have to pay a tax. So what? I don't care about their. I am a pure fan. Like everyone else that goes to the games and has their 3 or 4 beers and sits there and watch. They want their team to win. I don't care about their finances. I really don't. I don't care what they're worth. I don't care what their payroll is. Like, I'm a Pirate fan. Their payroll is like $2. And, I want them to win. I don't care what their financials are at all. It's so funny to me how every year we come out on this show or every show, wherever you go, with these Forbes evaluations of the monies that these teams are worth. The Dallas Cowboys, the Yankees, the richest teams in sport. Who cares? Who cares? Fans want their teams to win. I don't care how much the owner has to pay players. I never have. I never will.
Can't have it. I don't care at all. Just win. That's what really matters to me. Win games.
So Soto got $750 million. And what I want is for him to lose. I don't care how much money he makes. I want him to lose.
Can you believe? and I know we're going to do this later. Can you believe they were on again with the Soto stuff yesterday with the Yankees?
Just can't stop.
I mean, my God, we've now gone through, spring training's over. It's opening day in 2 days. And they're still going on about asking Boone questions about Soto. Like, I know they were there yesterday, so it comes back up. Yankees played the Mets in their last spring game before everyone goes their separate ways. But is there anything more stale than asking Yankee players and managers and everyone else about Soto?
You should have been talking about Brett Gardner's son dying and how nobody knows what happened, and that story has changed so many times. Now they're saying that it wasn't asphyxiation over food. So God only knows how that 14-year-old kid died. Meanwhile, we're talking about Soto and his uniform and how he looks, and oh, I love you. Oh, it's so ridiculous.
It's too much. And I can't wait for the season to start, but I'm sure it's not even going to go away then, because when the Yankees start, 5-12, it's going to be, Soto, they don't have Soto. That's the problem. They don't have Soto in the lineup. And the Gardner stuff is scary. And look, I just hope that him and his family and his wife, they find out what really went on with their son, and they get the piece with that. But it's very sketchy, Sky, that the story's already changed a couple times with him over 2 days. You've already gotten a couple different versions, and I just hope that it's not something
I don't
even
think
worse.
that they can trust let's just get real here.
Costa
the Costa
Rica.
Ricans.
Yeah.
That is
not
a bad scene down there. Like, I wouldn't trust I wouldn't literally trust anything. The police, the hospitals, the doctors, the autopsy. I wouldn't trust any of it. Like, you might as well have monkeys do it. Don't they have monkeys down there climbing the trees? You might as well have them tell me what happened, because I don't trust any of those people down there. And they can hate us all they want.
It's an amazing story. It really is. We will come back and get to tonight's games, including Jimmy Lymphoma back in South Beach tonight for the Heat and the Warriors. We'll hear from him, his thoughts before getting ready to face his old team tonight in the big first leg of the TV doubleheader.
Too bad they're not much of a team down there in Miami. Probably going to get their ass beat.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize your odds? Well, do some research online to find games which have the highest RTP or return to player percentage. So now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun. I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on Sports.